Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to be here for a good time and a long time. And in order for us to do that, y'all got to keep running the numbers up. We appreciate y'all, fellas. Before we even get into the docket, how are y'all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing good, bro. I'm doing better than Olandria.
Too soon. Too soon.
Love Island reference. Maybe in our post episode, maybe we'll touch on it for y'all to have it. It seems like that's a hot topic right now, and some people are commenting on Miles's take, which, by the way, if you're watching this, that was previously recorded before whatever happened last night. I am the only one on the BMA podcast that does not watch the show, so I don't know, but people are saying that was a bad pick by Miles. It was previously recorded. On this episode, though, stuff that I do know about, we will be talking about days 1 through 3 of NBA free agency, the Lakers, Dame, what's going on with him, where he could possibly go. Does Giannis request a trade? We'll talk about even the Jalen Ramsey trade. What does that mean for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their ceiling? But we are going to start off with the Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers have signed Jake LaRavia and DeAndre Ayton. Ayton signs a 2-year deal, $16.6 million. Because of his buyout, he'll make $33.7 this year in total. And Jake LaRavia was signed for 2 years with $2-year, $12 million deal. Has your outlook changed on the Lakers heading into next season?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think they've been unserious and uncompetitive this offseason in terms of the moves they're making. This conservative approach is really problematic because it kind of feels like Pelinka is kicking the can down the road and hoping that they can go big game hunting for a superstar that hits the market in 2027. I'm sure everybody's seen that report from Dave McMenamin by now. And no one's more plugged into the Lakers than him, right? Especially for ESPN. So, I've got real concerns about their approach this offseason. I mean, you signed DeAndre Ayton, who you didn't even know was going to be available, which means that your other plans just didn't work out, right? Like you obviously Brook Lopez was there, and Al Horford and those guys were there, and you didn't choose to go after any of those guys and spend any real money. You chose to go after a buyout guy who is unserious and has a history of being unserious. A guy who historically will shoot one free throw a game at his big size, big, you're 7 feet tall. He's getting one free throw a game because he's not driving to the rim, playing with any kind of physicality. A guy who missed the basketball game because his car was snowed in when no one else missed the game. All of his teammates were there. Everybody has to drive to the same snow. He missed the game. He's the only one, right? So I just don't take him too seriously. I mean, Devin Booker and him bumped heads in Phoenix because Devin Booker didn't like the way he approached the profession, right? Didn't treat. I think you can argue whether or not DeAndre Ayton's really been a pro, right? And by that I mean just someone who takes it seriously and does what he needs to do, be ready to play every single night. So yeah, man. I mean, what does this really prove? Like, I just think their approach this offseason has been very Pelinka-esque. Like, this is what Pelinka's done since being here, right? Every good thing that's happened to Pelinka since he's become the GM of the Lakers has been basically gifted to him. Nico Harrison called him with a dumb idea, and he just said, "Cool, let's do it." And Luka's a Laker, right? Every other decision you can think about. LeBron coming to the Lakers, like LeBron came on his own. AD coming to the Lakers. Rich Paul and LeBron orchestrated that, right? Everything he's kind of put his hands to, outside of getting Danny Green and a couple pieces, Dwight Howard for that 2020 championship team after they struck out on Kawhi. It's been really unimpressive. And the Russell Westbrook thing would get most GMs fired, right? But because the Lakers are a small mom and pop organization and they operate like a bodega on 15th Street, or they have in the past, that this is going to change. He's still here. He's still here. And I think we can say for now, because when Walter comes in and his group comes in, I do think they're going to reassess this thing. And I won't be surprised if Blink is not here in a year. Right, when this sale goes through, if it's not official yet, I won't be surprised if he's not here in a calendar year. But yeah, just a bunch of unserious moves. And I think my read on the Lakers in the situation, and I know I'm expanding it to Bron. It's just I'm ready for the LeBron Lakers marriage to be over. I'm truly ready for it. I've been ready for it for a while, and I think that Bron needs to assess the situation and make sure he makes a good decision for his basketball future. Spend the last couple of years you have left on a court in your life trying to win championships, not playing for a third seed, fourth seed, and then getting bounced by a Denver team that's completely reloaded and is serious. And I think they're the favorite in the West after the moves they've made. So I think you've got to look at it that way. I think you've got to be smart with your Bron and his camp. But yeah, that's my little soapbox there. I'm sure we'll have more conversation about it.
Perfect transition, Miles. Looking at what we've seen for the Lakers, as you can see on the ticker down low, do you think LeBron is going to actually retire as a Laker now, or do we see him moved in a trade this season or maybe even next?
I think he'll play this season as a Laker, but after this, it's a little murky. Anywhere he wants to go, that's a threat for a championship. Do they want him? Do they want to take on the magnitude of a 41-year-old Bron? Even though he's still playing at a high level, do you want to go all in on bringing this guy in? And it kind of alters your team a little bit. Anybody who's bringing on Bron, you're gonna have to change the way you play. So I think he plays this season with the Lakers. I think this is all just posturing right now about trying to force their hand to make some moves. And, I mean, they've made some moves. Are they ones that he wants? I don't know. I don't know if they're really worried about what Bron thinks anymore. And I think they've kind of passed the torch on to Luka and more focused on what do we have to do to keep Luka here long term. So I wouldn't mind seeing a LeBron trade this offseason, whether that's somewhere in the Eastern Conference where he would have a better chance of making it to the finals than he does in the Western Conference right now, where it's kind of stacked and the top of the top is kind of solidified. You've got Denver, you've got Houston, you've got OKC repeating possibly. So there's a bunch of other teams out there that have a better chance than the Lakers right now. Like, sure, you got Luka, you got DeAndre Ayton. Does that really push the needle to make you a contender? I don't think so. So you're still in that mid to bottom 8 or bottom 8 seed of teams in the Western Conference.
Greg, to your point, I want to ask you this. Because I agree, I've thought about this and I talked to a couple people about this. Once the sale goes through, Rob Pelinka definitely is not having a job there. We've seen Walter try to hire the best possible people when it comes to who's in the front office. Rob Pelinka is not one of the best GMs in the NBA. Do you think that actually saves LeBron actually staying, being that Mark Walters is probably going to fire Pelinka and you might get a new GM to actually help LeBron get one more ring in LA?
I just think LeBron's timeline is now. So I don't think LeBron can be patient for another year. I don't think LeBron can go another year and piss a year away with no real opportunity to compete for a championship. You know what I mean? I don't think he can wait for Walter to really grab the reins here and start to make cuts and start to make decisions and start to make push the Lakers into a real competitive mindset as an organization. So I don't know if he'll get to benefit from the Walter era. I think that Luka will. I think Luka will benefit from it. I think Bron will probably be done or just about close to it. And I just, again, if I'm LeBron James, I think these last couple of years have had to be frustrating for you, right? You're playing at an all-NBA level, all-NBA second team, which is unheard of for a 40-year-old, and we'll probably never see it again. We'll never see it again, a 40-year-old playing at this level. And you do all this, you drag a team to the third seed, you hold the team above water when Anthony Davis goes down, you're single-handedly carrying them. Then they make a trade for Luka. Luka comes on the team and he's not even himself, and you're still playing at an extremely high level, carrying the team, just for you guys to get knocked out in the playoffs because Austin Reeves' toe, or Dorian Finney-Smith suddenly forgets how to shoot the basketball in the playoffs, or Rui Hachimura just forgets how to shoot a basketball all of a sudden in the postseason as well. It's the same story every single year. Jared Vanderbilt, the non-offensive threat. This roster is so flawed. We have no center. We waived and reneged on a Mark Williams trade that would have gave us a real lob threat and center and rim protection. We can't rebound. Gobert has a 30-20 game on us in an elimination game or something like that. Like, it's crazy. Oh, we have nobody to match Julius Randle's physicality outside of myself in this series, and I'm worn down. I'm 40. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? He has no help. When you really think about it, it still worked out the same way, even though it shouldn't have. And so I just think that the frustration has to be at a boiling point for LeBron James now, which is why you got the Rich Paul statement after he opted in. He's like, yo, we're opting in just to keep the no trade clause. That's really what he said. We're not opting in with any intention of like, oh, well, this is going to be where we're at. We hope it's going to be where we're at, but we're ready to do whatever now. Like, I think we're willing to reconsider other options. Bron probably had to sit down with Savannah and probably talk about other options, I'm sure, at this point. I know he loves living in LA, but he hates losing. He probably hates losing more than living in LA. I just don't think he's going to get to reap the benefits of the Walter transition necessarily. I mean, I wish he would. I wish he was able to. But if Pelinka's going to be calling the shots and he wants to kick the can down the road and disrespect LeBron James, that's essentially what he's doing, to be quite honest with you. You're disrespecting the greatest player of all time. Then go ahead and do that, but Bron should make the best decision for himself, regardless of what the return for the Lakers is. Force your way out. If anyone can force their way out of a situation, it's LeBron James, for sure.
Looking at the rest of free agency, day 1 and 2 has some moves. It's been pretty quiet, pretty silent today, outside of a couple moves. This is what you get, NBA. This is what you get, owners. This is what you get, players, with that new CBA. Free agency has completely lost its luster, completely lost the excitement, which was a part of the NBA being 365 all year. You knew in the summertime you was gonna have a pretty exciting free agency. It hasn't been as such from what we're used to. What we have seen, though, what are some of the best moves, whether it's sign-ins, trades, that y'all have so far in free agency that y'all like?
I like what the Knicks have done. I mean, you look at Jordan Clarkson. They didn't have a guy who could create his own bucket off the bench last year, and that really hurt them in the playoffs when Brunson comes off the floor. So you bring in Clarkson, and it's on a steal of a deal, which the veteran minimum. You're just getting a guy who, a few years ago was the sixth man of the year. So I think he got a little bored out there in Utah, and I think playing in a winning environment definitely can help elevate your game a little bit from what they got going on over there. And then bringing in Yabusele, who is a solid four-man. He played good minutes for the Sixers last year. He can start, come off the bench. A 6'8" bruiser who can shoot the three. So that was good for them. I like what the Hawks have done, bringing in Nikhil. He's a solid 3-and-D guy, shooter, defender, all that stuff. And then I know it was probably a salary dump, but getting Porzingis doesn't hurt at all. If he can stay healthy, that benefits them immensely, especially in a year where you got Tyrese out, you got Dame in Portland somewhere, you got Tatum out. Like, there's a lot of teams that are without their stars that are going to probably take a step back. So Atlanta, who they've been kind of dancing in the middle of the pack for a few years, now they have a chance to, get back to that conference finals like they had 3-4 years ago. So those are two teams that I thought did pretty well to start. And it's not over. There's a lot of other moves that we can see happen, but early on, this is what I like.
I think Miles hit a couple big ones on the head, obviously talking about the Hawks and things like that. I love everything Denver did, man. I just think Denver has put themselves in championship favorite category with the moves they've made. They didn't have enough shooting last year. They signed Tim Hardaway, which is a real sneaky under the radar signing. Tim Hardaway's gonna have wide open shots playing with Jokic, and if you get Cam Johnson in the trade to come over there and play a smarter basketball player than Michael Porter Jr., a player who is going to play winning basketball and help you down the stretch of a championship run in the postseason. I think that is a phenomenal move. A mature player to add to the mix there who can shoot the crap out the basketball as well. So you got him, you got more shooting, you got Jonas Valanciunas who brought over, and it basically traded a bag of peanuts over there to the Kings to get him. I don't know what. And then there's a real Lakers tax because they couldn't have made a deal like that. Dario Saric and nothing else. You get Jonas Valanciunas back to be a 5 alongside Jokic. You can play him with him. You can play him off the bench. You have more strength. You have more size. You can give Jokic a real breather with Jonas coming in. I know these are trades and not all free agency moves, but just everything they've done has made Bruce Brown coming back to a winning situation. That is another. He was so great for them before during their championship run, and he knows how to play winning basketball. Is all he really knows. And so to bring that guy on board with the moves they've made to add shooting around them, they are a bona fide championship favorite. I think they're going to be better than everybody else next year, and I think they have a real chance, which pains me to say. I don't want to see Denver win another championship. What's this? But it's the reality of the situation, man. So I think they've made some incredible moves that really made them serious. Atlanta had a heck of an offseason, man. I think Atlanta has a legitimate chance to get to the NBA Finals. I love Jalen Johnson already being there, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, and you get to hide Trae Young, right? Teams are going to go at Trae Young, but you've got so many wings defenders that can step in and help him out with KP in the backcourt as well. They got real aggressive. They still have Okongwu there, the big man they drafted as well. They're big on the front line. They're big at the wing position. They've got an incredible scorer at the point guard position as well. I think Trae Young's done a lot more with less. He already had an Eastern Conference Finals run. I think they have a real chance this year. And I think it's a great opportunity for Trae Young to shut the haters up, right, so to speak, right? I think he has a great opportunity. So I'm excited for them. Yeah, man, I think those two teams really, really stand out to me as teams that really made some exciting moves. I think Milwaukee's kidding themselves. I think Milwaukee going out there and getting Miles Turner and waving and stretching Dame. What does Miles Turner really accomplish for your basketball team? You just lost Damian Lillard, who even on some nights still could turn the clock back and look like Portland Dame, right? You don't have any running mate for your boy Giannis to play with anymore. It's just Miles Turner. Like Miles Turner is a good ancillary piece. He's a rotation guy. He's a starter. He's a solid starter. He's not a star. He's not a co-star. So when I hear Giannis excited about the move, I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Bobby, I don't know if Bobby Portis is even still there anymore. I can't remember if they brought him, they kept him. That's good. That's important for them. Losing Brook Lopez is a bigger deal than people realize. I know they replaced him with Miles Turner, who's younger and can shoot the ball, but I'm not sure he shoots the ball even as well as Brook does. I think Brook is a really good shooter at the 5-man spot and really, really solid. More athletic for sure, but I don't know, man. I just don't like what the Bucks do. I think the Bucks are trying to delay the inevitable. A breakup with Giannis would be best for that organization to get a reset. And trading Giannis to the Spurs makes a lot of sense to get your boy Dylan Harper over there and some picks. Tell you that right now. It's a great way to reset that organization. But that's okay. They're going to keep trying to, placate to Giannis and make them think they have a legitimate chance to win a championship when they don't. They don't, right? They need to keep adding shooting around him, and he needs a co-star, which he does not have. So we'll see what happens there. But those teams stand out to me immediately, right? Immediately with their free agency moves, and obviously the Lakers with the lack of their moves. So, yeah.
Asking some questions from free agency. One of the teams that really did well, the Houston Rockets, obviously.
Oh my gosh,
Houston Rockets and Dorian Finney-Smith. We don't know what they're gonna do Coca-Cola, but we saw from Thunders and Pacers. If you learned anything, depth is huge, especially when you're talking about an 82-game season, playoffs. Thunder won 84 games. I think they played a total of maybe 90, 91 games, 92 games, something along those lines. That's a lot of basketball. And we saw both teams, Thunders and Pacers, be able to pull the 12th man, the 13th man, and get production out of them. With their roster, Dorian Finney-Smith, Deshaun Tate, they bring back Fed VanVleet, Jeff Green, Aaron Holiday, Jabari Smith Jr. on an extension. What would a ring mean for KD? Another ring added to his resume.
Does it really change anything? I mean, I don't know if it doesn't like make me think any like it's already stained from what he did previously. I mean, unless he was able to bring the Nets a championship, I don't know if things would have changed in my mind. So, um, yeah, this is like his best chance he's had in years with a team that's pretty good now. Like they've got defenders all around him. They've got some shooting now. He's got some 3-and-D guys with Dorian Finney-Smith. You got Jabari Smith that you brought back, who's I think he's going to be very good for them. I think if not for the injury, he would have come on a lot sooner last year. But I think they know what they got, and they made the right decision extending him. So, yeah, this is one of the 3 best teams in basketball, in my opinion. Like I think the 3 best teams are in the Western Conference right now, between OKC, Houston, and Denver. And it all comes down to how they play in the playoffs. Like you got Durant for this moment. You need that scorer. You need that guy you can kind of rely on down the stretch. And sure, he's older. You might not want to rely on him too much. But now you got shooters. You got other guys who can possibly, take a little bit off of his mantle. So, what does this mean for his legacy? Not much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the role he plays for them, man. I think that's a big thing. Really, in reality, I think Miles was the right idea. I'm not sure how much it really changes if he wins an NBA championship there. But I think it does. I think it has an effect. I think it definitely helps. It'd be the purest championship he's won, right? There'd be no hole on the championship, so to speak, right? Because the other ones had hole written all over them. So it'd be nice, to get that stain off his resume a little bit, and
But
you
this
have
one,
this one to
but
kind of
yo,
remember.
this one ring can't hide those 2 hoes back there.
They
So,
can't. No, hoes have a way of standing out. Hoes like to be front and center.
yeah.
And so I just, I think that's important. It doesn't erase it, Miles. No, these are stains. These are ketchup stains on a white shirt. Like they're there, right? They're not going anywhere. And so that's important. But I think it does help. I think it does help. I think, obviously it'd be good if he could be a part of a winning situation, because everywhere he's gone lately, there seems to be a black cloud over him that seems to follow him, and the team seems to fall apart and disintegrate all around him, right? So it'd be nice for him to be associated with winning again, which I think he has an opportunity to do. I think even if he got hurt, even if guys got hurt in that team, they're so young, the core is so young, they can probably still compete. And Ime Udoka teams play defense all year round, and defense will win you games regular season. When other teams aren't really locked in and going as hard as they are. They're just not wired that way necessarily, unless you're a Tibbs team or something, right? But he's no longer coaching, so there's that. But regardless, like I think it would help the legacy. I don't think it would move him up the rankings in terms of all-time rankings if he were to win one necessarily. But it also depends on how he gets it done. If he has an all-time great run where he goes through OKC, goes through Denver, goes through these teams, goes to the Lakers or whatever, if they ever make a move that makes them worth even being talking about, then sure. Like I think you could have a conversation about him being higher in the all-time rankings. If I had to rank KD right now, where is he? Probably just outside the top 10, probably like a 12, 11-ish range. Probably like he's right there, probably right out on the doors, at the doorsteps. He's knocking at the door of the club trying to get in, but the bouncer in the way. This might move the bouncer. He might punch the bouncer in the face and move the guy out the way. So we'll see what happens. It's about moving the bouncer for him this year.
He's been trying to find that moment, sort of like when Kobe won without Shaq, or LeBron came home and won that championship with Cleveland. He's been trying to find that moment that kind of defines his career. He doesn't have anything that defines his career right now.
Well, he does. He does. He was a hoe.
Well, yeah.
That defines his career.
But I'm saying defines his career in a positive way. Like right now,
yeah.
That's like it's a scarlet letter on his career, and it'll follow him for the rest of his life, that decision. And he can say he doesn't care. He cares.
He cares.
And I think ever since Golden State, he's been trying to find that place that he could, gain some redemption. I feel like you've said this before. He doesn't really have a home. So, gain, people that actually care about him. He went to Brooklyn, tried to win over there, tore that thing down. went to Phoenix. I mean, that never really got off the ground, and they tried to put Flex Seal on it with Bradley Beal. That ain't working. He's mid, more than mid. So let's see if he can do it in Houston. Houston hasn't done it since Hakeem was there. So if he's able to do this and win it, I guess, in the right way, then maybe we look at him just a little differently. Not much, but a little bit is all he needs.
Well, the good thing about this team. Well, the good thing about this team is it sets up in a way where he has to be a really good player, a dominant scorer for them to win the championship. They didn't go out there and load up in a way where the scoring responsibility isn't on his shoulders. It is. If you think Amen Thompson will go out there and lead the team in scoring and lead you to a championship, you're out of your freaking mind. Okay, that's not going to happen. Okay, great, really nice young piece, really exciting, athletic, jump basketball Tarzan candidate. I love it. He's great, freak. But you need a guy like Kevin Durant to come in and score when you need a bucket down the stretch. And so since it's set up that way, if he has a good postseason run, yeah, I mean he can boost his standing in the top 10 or rankings. He'll tell you he doesn't care, he'll tell you he doesn't care, but he certainly does. And so I think that's an important part of this thing to kind of keep in mind.
Dame, we mentioned it earlier. Where's the best fit for Dame? We've heard Warriors, we've heard Lakers, Celtics are interested, the Heat. The best fit for Damian Lillard?
Miami. I mean, best fit. I would say the Heat, but I don't even know if that's like one of the best places to go, period, for any free agents and stuff. Pat Riley kind of seems checked out a little bit. I would have said Houston if they didn't just pay Fred an extension. Like, you'd at least have that on the back burner to give you some life in the playoffs. Right. He's also single in Miami. That could be, KOD. It's going up. So, I don't know. He's getting paid a lot of money to not do anything. So he doesn't need to rush this decision. Like, he's getting that bread regardless. So if the team that's interested doesn't look like the best fit, skip it. Like, he can really go on a cheap deal somewhere. Maybe a one-year deal, like, I'm not going to say the Lakers because I don't think that's an option. I'm trying to, go down step by step.
I like Houston, though.
Yeah.
I really like Houston. He goes to Houston. He's not, I don't believe the reports that he's going to be back by All-Star break. And if he is, that's not smart. You have him come back maybe the playoffs, or he sits out the entire year. Fred gets one more year as a starter. That following year, Dame is a starter, and you still got Fred under contract. Fred coming off the bench. I think that's a beautiful combination, and especially what we just mentioned as well. That now you add Dame next year, not this season coming up, but that following season, that takes a load off of KD on the scoring responsibilities, and that takes a load off of we need Amen to really progress 5 times faster than we expected on the offensive side of him.
I just don't think you're getting Dame for a bag of peanuts, even off the injury. I'd be surprised if he comes in at veteran minimum. Oh my gosh, damn. So I think with that in mind, it'd be interesting to see him go to Houston. It'd be a great fit. I think I didn't even think about that as a potential location up until you said it. That's a phenomenal fit. They need a point guard upgrade. I think it'd be phenomenal for them. Miami would make a whole lot of sense to me because I just don't think that they have a competitive roster to really be around them and give them a chance to win a championship. Like, if you're going to go make this move and come back early from an Achilles injury or rush your way back, which I hope he doesn't do, and try to go on your revenge tour after getting away or stretched out by the Bucks, I think you've got to be you got to be really strategic about where you go. All right, you got to be real strategic. So if I'm him, yeah, Houston's a phenomenal location. I think you just looking at other contenders in the NBA with point guard needs. Minnesota be interesting, but why would you do that? I'm gonna tell you something right now.
I don't
Okay,
know if they even have any more money. They just
ain't about no money. They can have more money than God. It's not about the money. If Dame has to finally has the decision of where he gets to go, all right, if he gets the decision on where he gets to go, then I don't see how. I don't see why he would decide to go to a place like Minnesota. He's gonna go to a destination that's nice, that's warm, somewhere he wants to live, right? That's what I'm saying. And again, like he has an opportunity to get revenge for this situation where he's been stretched, and he's gonna go out there and make the best decision for himself.
Do you think
best decision for himself?
Do you think Boston could even poke their head in there and see, like, because I mean,
For
Brad
sure.
Stevens, he's smart enough to see, like, all right, he's an asset. It's not a good asset right now just because he's out. He's got a torn Achilles. Nobody knows how he's going to heal from that. So it's a gamble that you're taking. Like, Dame's going to be 35. Maybe he is 35 now. I mean, when did Kobe tear his Achilles? And after that, it kind of went downhill from there. So it's a gamble.
Well, I just don't see if Dame would. I think the Boston is racist thing, like with the players, is a real narrative, and it's also real. But sorry, I just don't see him going there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see him going. I don't see him going to Boston with kind of like that PR damage they have with players around the league, specifically black players around the NBA. I think Boston probably realizes they're not really going to be able to go get him if he has a real market, which he does. 10 teams are calling. I bet they're one of them. And I'm sure there's some surprise teams in there that you just wouldn't expect to see listed with a somewhat solid point guard situation right now, and they're involved in the mix. When you go down and list in your head and you think about contenders that could use Damian Lillard, I'm sure all of them could, but he's a starter, so it's kind of like it gets really interesting when you think about it, right? Like the list gets slimmer and slimmer when you think about it in your own head. But
Detroit,
that's an upgrade from Ivy.
Oh, I'm an upgrade from Ivy. But the thing about it is, I just don't understand.
Ivy was playing pretty well before he got hurt last year. Let's pump the brakes. But we're not getting into that. We're not getting into it.
Well, I'm an upgrade from Ivy. So what I'm going to tell you is, again, if he has the option on where he gets to go, why would you choose to go dodge bullets in Detroit? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? So
he's not on the 8 Mile. He's going to play at what's the arena called? I gotta ask Michael Beasley.
Little Caesars.
In order for him, Little Caesars Palace, for him to go there, they're gonna have to put him in a Little Caesars armored truck to go to every single game. That's the only way he's gonna be able to go to every game and be safe. So I don't
think it can't be Detroit, especially being that there's reports of him battling depression in Milwaukee. I've heard Detroit is nice in the summertime.
Dude, Detroit and Milwaukee are like 10 miles apart.
They're
neighbors.
They're
close. Neighbors. You think he's gonna stay in Detroit? Well, we shouldn't even do that. We're disrespecting him. He's gonna go somewhere where he thinks he can go and win a championship, or it's nice, where it's gonna be in LA, it's gonna be in Miami. He might go to Miami. He's always want to go there.
He'll be in San Francisco too.
Yeah, of course. I think San Fran put a call in. I think the Warriors put a call in.
Yeah.
So I do think Dame and Steph could work together. So that's a great suggestion there. It's going to be somewhere nice. The only thing he has to worry about in San Fran is someone stealing his car. Whatever. It's fine.
Think if you good if you check in with Draymond, E40. I think they'll have him protected over there in San Fran, his car. Looking at a couple other teams before we transition, right? How much better are the Cavs now that they've added Lonzo Ball?
Oh my God. What a phenomenal move for the Cavs. And I regret not bringing that up. Obviously, it was a trade, not a free agency move necessarily, but they make him so much better, man. I mean, to have Lonzo coming off the bench or even starting him, which I think they could eventually get around to doing. I mean, at some point in the stretch for a postseason run, I think Darius Garland's great and everything offensively, but defensively, he leaves a lot to be desired. Darius Garland about my size in the NBA. And so it's tough to guard in the perimeter when you're about that size, but he's a phenomenal offensive player. He's a phenomenal offensive player. So I just think when you really look at y'all making me laugh. When you look at that situation and what they can do, the change of pace that Lonzo brings, he allows him to play at a faster pace. He's really athletic. He's gonna hit the rim runners, whether it's Jared Allen running the floor, or whoever else it may be. Obviously, LeVert's no longer there, but whoever else, and neither is Isaac Okoro, obviously, which is thank God. But addition by subtraction situation. But it's a phenomenal situation for them to get to run the floor. He's going to get Donovan Mitchell some easy baskets in transition as well, and he's a knockdown 3-point shooter legitimately now as well. So there's nothing to love about this move. He is a phenomenal piece to add to this team. You keep DG there. You can go with some DG Lonzo lineups if you like. You can get real creative because Lonzo's so unselfish. He plays winning basketball. He won't step on anybody's toes. You can go DG Lonzo and Mitchell to close games if you'd like to do that. And you can get Lonzo in there to change the pace of the game and sit DG down if he's getting hibachi fried by the other guard, which happens. So Lonzo's a much harder guy to get past. So I love the move for them. It makes them a lot more serious of a championship contender team. I don't think any of us believed in that team last year. I know we didn't spend a whole lot of time on this podcast talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers last year. We'll spend some more time talking about them this year because I feel like it makes them a more mature, a more serious team. Last year's team felt like a team for children. This is a team for grown-ups. And so I'm very, very excited to see how the whole thing progresses this year with this team and how it all comes together.
Hey, so I'm gonna run down this, and y'all let me know. I'm gonna run down these rosters, and I got a question to ask. So, looking at the draft and free agency, the New Orleans Pelicans, they traded to get Derek Queen. They traded their draft pick of 2026, and it's unprotected to the Hawks. So the Hawks also looks very good in that regard of next year. Let's look at this Pelicans roster. They have Jose Alvarado, Brandon Boston, Sadiq Bey, Jordan Hawkins, Jeremiah Fears, Kevon Looney, Yves Mixie, Trey Murphy III, DeJounte Murray, Alfred Payton, Jordan Poole, Derek Queen, Antonio Reeves, Zion Williamson still on that roster. And the Charlotte Hornets, their roster isn't that much better. They signed a couple of people in free agency so far. We're going to run down that roster, that beautiful roster that it is. Concanipo, they got in the draft pick. You have with Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball. You still got Grant Williams over there. Colin Sexton that they got. You have Nick Smith Jr. You also have Josh Green on the roster, Josh Okogie. You have Trey Mann. AI's doppelganger is back on a 3-year deal. Brandon Miller. You have Seth Curry still over there that they might possibly bring back. Out of those two teams right there. And they also got Pat Connaughton in the trade, and they signed Dinwiddie today and Colin Sexton via trade. Which of these two rosters these two teams are actually in a worse off situation between the Hornets and the Pelicans? Sidebar, before y'all go, I don't know how Troy Weaver and my man Dumars has a job in the NBA still. After what they did in Detroit, it seems like they're doing the exact same thing in New Orleans, but y'all go ahead.
I feel like the Hornets are worse off because I just feel like there's no real growth with this team. Like we haven't seen them progress. I mean, I like what they did in the draft this year with Con Knipple, getting McNeely from UConn. Like I think those are two solid picks. I think Con could even be the number 2 guy behind LaMelo at some point. I think he's that good. But I just don't know what the direction is for this team. Like, you still got to play with LaMelo, who, until we see otherwise, I don't think he really makes anybody better on his team. Like, it's cool. He's fun to play with. You know, he's got a lot of VC from his 2K days. You see the tattoos and all that. It's cool. But, like, what are you doing to help this team win? Like, is he a true leader on this team? I don't think so. I don't think he's leading anybody on this team. And I don't think there are any leaders on this team. Like, You bring back Mason Plumlee for one final run, but like, what are we doing? The Hornets are never going to be able to compete in this conference unless they're able to get some talent on this team. I just don't see it. Like, at least New Orleans has some talent, some hope. They've got Zion still. Don't they have Jordan Poole? They got Jordan Poole. They drafted Fears. And that jersey's going to be top 10 this year. Zero Fears is so tough. And then even getting Queen. Like, I know you gave up a little bit to get Queen, but he could be something. He could be, I don't want to say like a Zach Randolph, but he's a slower foot big that can shoot a little bit. So see what you got there. You still got talent from the last couple drafts, like Missy, the big man you drafted last year. You got Jordan Hawkins. So, it's not all, gloom and doom over there in New Orleans, but in Charlotte, it's nothing really to look forward to. And it really started from when Michael Jordan was there. He left them kind of dead and buried. So,
I think the answer there is definitely the Pelicans. I don't think it's particularly difficult. They're a more talented roster. They may have more stupid leadership in place. We want to talk about who's worse off from the leadership perspective. To make that trade for Derek Queen is crazy. Not to say Derek Queen may not ultimately be worth it. Who knows? But that's an insane give up. The thing to give up there, an insane fee to pay. Right? You talk about that. That pick, it could be the number one pick in the draft. It could easily be the number one pick. And I think the way it works out is like it's not just like their odds they're playing against in that pick. It's also like the Bucks, like whichever team is worse, they get their first overall, they get their number one pick unprotected. It's insane. What they agreed to move up to draft Derek Queen, not to draft like I don't know, name another really good Ace Bailey. Like even then, it still would have been crazy to do that as well. But to do that to Derek Queen is something it really is strange. I have concerns about him being in shape, him staying in shape, taking it seriously. I don't know. And you go up there and make that trade for that guy. That's wild. So you could argue, I guess, that the Hornets are better off from a future perspective in terms of what their roster could be. But that wasn't the question. Right? The question is whose roster is better right now. The more talented roster is the Pelicans roster by far. I know they went out there and the Hornets are excited. They went out there and drafted Kobe Kneppel, but we'll have to wait and see how it worked out.
You think the Nets bring back Cam Thomas, being he's a restricted free agent?
They should.
Interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. That's interesting. I get. Look, I think they should bring it back for the sake of having an asset they could eventually trade, and they have cap space to do so. So why not? I do think it's ultimately going to happen. There seems to be no market for him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see any teams. I don't hear about any teams falling over themselves to sign Cam Thomas right now. So I do think that Cam will ultimately be back with the Nets, and I think it's an asset for the future. The same way Michael Porter Jr. is too. And that was a move I really liked, by the way. And oh yeah, I called it on this podcast. So you think we are? I'm more than just a good time. I'm more than a bunch of jokes, right? I also bring knowledge here to the podcast. But yeah, whoever could have been here, we talk more about that.
Hey Miles, these two other restricted free agents, where do you think they end up? Quentin Grimes, who reportedly wants $25 million a year, which I don't think he's getting that, and very hot topic that's been in discussion for like the last 2-3 years, Jonathan Kuminga. Which tells you where we are at in free agency. These are some of the biggest names left right now.
If Grimes gets $25 million a year, he's gonna get stretched in the future. 100%. He's next. 1,000%.
Have you ever been stretched?
We're gonna have to. Miles gonna get stretched too. His contract with Bench Mob is about to get stretched.
Yeah, okay. Remember who signed your checks. I could see Detroit looking at Grimes. They need an extra sort of guy that can score. I mean, he did show a lot last year for Philly. I get it. Like they didn't really have much left with Embiid being out and Paul George being out. But I mean, Grimes has always had the talent to be a solid NBA player in this league. So he finally got to show it at the end. And I mean, sure, that might be the starting number, but that's not going to be the number that he probably gets. He might get more in that, like, sort of similar to what Reeves got from the Lakers, something a little cheaper than that. So, good player, gonna have to lower that price and realize that whatever team's signing you, they're not signing you to be the go-to guy. They're kind of signing you to be one of those guys. So, it's a big ask. I know there's not much money to go around in free agency, so shout out to his agent for what he's doing. And then Jonathan Kuminga. That's tough because I would like to see him stick in Golden State, but I don't think Golden State it's just too much that's gone on over the last couple of years. Like I think they're just ready for the breakup. He's ready to go where he can prove himself. And they already got Jimmy in there, so there's kind of redundant. He could go to Detroit too. That's another place that he can go. I mean, and I know they have Tobias Harris, but they need some solid wings over there. I'm having a hard time finding another spot for Kuminga where he can.
I hope they able to let him walk though. Like it's that relationship that, like you said, has ran its course. The Warriors, that's the over the last couple of years, that's the terrible boyfriend that says, you know what? I don't want to see you with me, but I don't want to see you with nobody else. They should have been traded that man, been let him go. It's not working for whatever reason. Him and Kerr is not a good fit. It is what it is. I'm going to play y'all something, and I got a question when we return from this clip.
Very pivotal lost start that you only see with the top guys, though the ones only that have it now, is playing off the pivot. You can say whatever y'all want about me. I wasn't an all-star. I wasn't a superstar. A lot of that has to do with situation, whatever. We don't need to go about that. We can spend another episode talking about that. When it comes to playing off a pivot and pivot work, I was nasty. I can give you a 20-minute edit highlight. 20 minutes of me doing one move and it working. In fact, as this is playing, or as I'm saying this right now, I'm sure my edit team is going to go find me doing shimmy, double hezzy, all off a live dribble.
So, after seeing that clip right there, who comes to mind as players that are good, whether they're currently playing or all time, that actually are really good at using a pivot, which I do agree with Austin Rivers, and I'm sure Greg would say the same, coaching at the grassroots, that the pivot is a lost art.
100%. I mean, when I think about guys who've been really good at it, Jalen Brunson's obviously awesome at it. Playing off 2 feet, right? Playing off of a pivot 95% of the time. I think DeMar DeRozan's underrated. He's really good at it too, and you see it more on his mid-range jump shot when he gets to a spot. If you beat him to the spot, he's really good at kind of just landing and then give you an up fake and then kind of turning and contorting his body to find an angle. Kobe was phenomenal at it as well. Really good at it. Kawhi is a sneak guy. He's really good off 2 feet and plays off 2 feet all the time. It's like teach tape with those guys. Like they're all really good at it. And there's more guys. I mean, I will say there are an alarming amount of guys in the NBA who don't play off a pivot and don't play off 2 feet. Okay, there's a lot of guys out here just jumping off one leg, looking crazy, like Jonathan Kuminga, for example, right? And guys like that. We just talking about him, So there are guys who need some, work fundamentally to sharpen their fundamentals to be able to play winning basketball, as well. So yeah, I think I just named 4 guys off the top of my head that did it at a high, super high level. Obviously, we could find more guys that are really fantastic at it as well. But those guys know how to manipulate the game by playing off 2 feet, letting guys fly right by them. It all depends on how athletic you are too. I mean, if you're at an athletic deficit as a basketball player, playing off a pivot, playing off 2 feet is exactly what you want to do. You want to use the other guys' athletic ability against them, because guys who are super athletic want to do what? Go in the air. Because it's just cool. They love to do it. Like, I can, so I'm going to do it. And so you let them jump on by looking like an idiot trying to block a shot, and then you make a shot. Like, you find an angle to create a shot, or you create a shot for somebody else who's open because you were patient off that pivot and off those 2 feet. So, no, Austin Rivers is cooking. I mean, he's been on a heater. He's phenomenal to listen to. As opposed to listening to guys like Perk and them guys, listen to a guy like Austin Rivers. He knows what he's talking about. So, yeah, that's just one example of many from him.
He mentioned later in that clip a name that I like to throw in there too, Carmelo Anthony. On that pivot, he wasn't per se. Yeah, it wasn't per se the most athletic person either. But that's one of
the common denominator. Guys who aren't that athletic will play off 2 feet, will play off a pivot because it allows them the ability to kind of read what's going on, use their strength, right? Like, get you off of them with a jab, get you off of them with a shimmy, whatever it may be. Like, playing off a pivot is huge. But playing off 2 feet also is the two things are closely correlated. It's the same thing, right? So Carmelo was phenomenal at it. He's another great example of that. There are plenty of guys who did it at a high level. Carmelo was probably as good of an example as you can give for that one specifically.
I'm going to throw another name out there that was in the post. 2 names, actually. Hakeem, obviously. The footwork, using the pivot, facing up. But another player that when they faced up, straight work. Tim Duncan. Once he faced up, pivot, shimmy, backboard shot. That joker was probably like 85%. Once he pivot and he got you right, bank shot, the bank open. One of the most boring, ugly shots that you could think of, which is why I think some people forget how great he was. But it was automatic, and I know Greg could attest to it, and Miles as well. Being that we all play basketball and help at the grassroots level or coach at the grassroots level or still watch the grassroots level, the backboard isn't really something that's used either a lot nowadays. I don't see any bank shots really being something that is used often. So that's a name I'll throw out there. Another podcast that's actually killing it, that's doing a really, really good job is Mind the Game podcast.
6'2" and under guard is at a premium no more as a starter. Maybe as a backup, but you have to be.
We just talked about this last.
It's gotten compressed.
It has.
Right? It's compressed.
It has.
It's at like either Donovan Mitchell, Drew Holiday, 6'3", or
Lou
6'4", Lou Dort, or it's not. You got to be.
You can't get picked on defense. That's the thing, because we playing such the pick on game that they will really, literally, if you can't guard, they will bring you up every play.
Yeah.
And if you're 6 foot, 6'1", and you're not a bulldog like a Davion Mitchell, Drew Holidays, on the defensive side, or you're not an offensive flat-out savant like Kyrie, where you can score on dudes 7 feet easily in ISO, then I just can't see.
So I want to ask y'all this, which is funny KD said that because he has somebody on his team named Fred VanVleet, who's a smaller guard that doesn't fit into anything that he described, by the way. Just throwing it out there. Can small guards start in the league, or are we going to see small guards as starters or even in the league, period, become kind of extinct with how the game is going?
I mean, there's special cases, right? Like, there's a few guards in the NBA that they're able to do it, but they're not – like Chris Paul was one of those special ones who he was small, but he can also play defense too. Like, sometimes when you get that 6 foot guard, they're not able to stick and do all that and get steals and stuff. Like Jalen Brunson, he's great on offense, struggles on defense. Same with Trae Young, same with other guys in the NBA that are not over 6'2", 6'3". So it's a select few that can start and can be stars in the league at that size. But the league is kind of going more, I feel like European, where overseas you have a lot of bigger guards. You have a lot of like Luca. You got guys who are forward size that can handle the rock, that can run point. Like you're seeing that a lot more now, and teams are utilizing that because you need size out there. You need an advantage at every position. So I don't think they'll become extinct. Like small guards have their advantages. Like they're quicker, they can get you off your pivot. So similar to what Jalen Brunson's able to do. Like crafty. Those guys are real crafty, and they know that because they're not the biggest. So they're able to get you off balance or to get you on their hip a lot easier than, let's say, a bigger guard. So yeah, I'm not gonna say they're not gonna be extinct, but like they said, it's getting more compressed. Like you're not seeing a ton of all stars that are like 6 feet and shorter. Like most of those guys are going to be like 6'3", 6'4", and above. So it is what it is. That's the current state of the NBA.
Hit the nail on the head. I just think as the game gets better, as the game continues to evolve, it's like these tall guys in the NBA, like the 6'9", 6'8", they can just do more. They can just do more. I mean, look at the draft. You can look no further than the draft. All right, like the Nets drafted a 6'10" point guard. Then they drafted a 7-foot point guard in Danny Wolf, right? And that's what saying Danny Wolf is. He's a guard. He's a 7-foot guard. Think about Jokic at him being 6-7 foot tall. He's essentially their point guard. That's what he is. He's their point guard. He's the distributor. Jamal Murray's job is to score and facilitate occasionally. Jokic takes much more of the facilitating responsibility on that team. So you just got to think about the trend of the NBA and where things are going. It's going to get harder and harder for the smaller guys, like a 6-footer, or the 6-footer, the 6'1", anywhere from 6 feet to 6'3". It's going to get really tough for those guys to stick in the NBA unless you're a bulldog defensively or you're a phenomenal scorer or shooter. And really, it has to be a guy who can score off the bounce because it's harder to score set shots at that height in the NBA. So you really got to think about it that way. We're phasing out of it. This is a new era of basketball. It's pace and space. It's a lot of screening rolls. It's guard-to-guard screens. It's getting advantageous switches. Like KD said, you're going to get picked on at that size. You just are. And it's really, really hard for a coach to leave you on the floor if they're getting violated every time they have a switch, right? And you're just giving them basket after basket after basket. It's the reason why the Cavs go trade for Lonzo Ball when they have Darius Garland on the team because, hey, we need to change the pace. We got to be able to throw a curveball here and get a guy out here who can defend in space when teams go to their guard-to-guard screens. If teams go to guard-to-guard screens and Darius Garland's on the roster, we already saw it. Miami tried going at him. Tyler Hero so much as said so, right? They were going back and forth about it, like going at each other. It's the same thing, right? And it's evolving. The game's evolving, right? So soon teams won't be able to say attack the white guy. That's what teams say. Boston, Joe Mazzulla. I know for a fact that Joe Mazzulla walks into a locker room every day and tells the Boston Celtics, we are attacking any white guy that we see. That is an actual game plan that he employs. He says it. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not going to tell you how I know it, but I know it. And so soon you won't be able to say that because white guys will continue to get better and more athletic as well, right? Like, so the game changes. Things ever flow. Things are ever flowing in the NBA, and it's a great observation that they're making. But if you look at the draft trends of the last couple of years, like I know, and it's specific to Jersey. All right, I got Jersey guys coming up to me all the time. Miles Powell, why he was so cold in Seton Hall? Why he ain't get drafted? Miles Powell can't guard a parked car in the NBA. There's no chance. He's a phenomenal college basketball player. He's an NBA level scorer. Absolutely, he's a professional. He can't guard anybody, so he's not a professional basketball player, right? Isaiah Briscoe, same thing. Who's he guarding? Who's he gonna go guard? You know what I mean? At the NBA level. The reason why it worked out for Kyrie is because Kyrie's what? Generationally special as an offensive player. We're not talking about the same level of scorer. We're talking about Briscoe Miles Powell, right? It's a different ball game. I was having another conversation with someone else a couple of days ago about a kid named Michael Gordon at playing field. A big deal, right? He's 1,000 points. He's going to be 1,000-point scorer by the time he's going into his junior year. If that's not already if we're not already at that point in his career, whatever. Not a tall kid, not a big kid, not an NBA player. No offense to him, he's just not. It's really, really hard. It's really, really hard to be a Division I player at that kid's size. That's a credit to him. He's a 1% player in the world already. To do that, he's a Division I. But to be an NBA player at the size of 5'10", 6 foot, 6'1", you got to be a special athlete. You got to be a special scorer. You got to do something at a special level to get to the NBA. Special. And I just, a lot of guys don't understand that. It's different. Trayvon Duval, another guy, right? Didn't get to the NBA. Same thing. Smaller guy, 6 foot, even. We can go down the list. Long list of guys, but Isaiah Washington, same thing. Like a lot of conversations about stuff like that. No, I don't know if anyone thought he was an NBA guy. Javon Quinterly. I'm just going down a list of guys. Really simple. So it's not an offense. It's not offense. It's not for me to try to offend anybody or offend them, but it's for me to tell you that it's really, really hard to play at the NBA level, guys. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. And when you think about small guys like Celtics IT, Isaiah Thomas, when on that run, that is a special all-time run of offensive basketball. Okay, that was special. It's different. He is a master of his craft. He deserves a lot of credit for his ability to manipulate the game at that size and to make guys pay for trying to guard him a certain kind of way, using other guys' athleticism against them, right? Jumping into people, finishing, embracing contact. And you pay a toll. You pay a price for that at that size. He damn near tore his hamstring off the bone or whatever happened. You know what I mean? But he had a heck of a run. And so, yeah, that's what I mean. Special. Think about that, though. It's special. You got to be special. How many guys you know are special? Not many.
Not many at all. Y'all know, if you ever paid attention to this podcast, I am an advocate for the Smurf gang players in the NBA, but it is facts on what Katie was saying. But also, you got to look at this aspect as just not those players that get picked on. It's across the league. So it's not just that. Can't be the sole reason of why. They'll use that as an excuse, as a reason, nah, we can't have him on the team. When it's players like Rudy Gobert, he's 7 feet, he get picked on. Luka Doncic, he not 5'10", he's getting picked on. It's just what we know in regards of hoop politics. We've seen it, we've all seen it, and we've all been a part of it on some level. Hey, I get it. I rather would have 6'4" and above players. You are really, really good. I need to find a reason that it makes sense to not have you on a team. And people that are taller will always get that benefit of the doubt of, hey, he don't play defense, but he's 6'8". Luka Doncic is a 6'8". I can deal with it. I can overlook it. It's okay.
Luka's a generational scorer and playmaker, right? So, yeah. I mean, special guys. It's special. You got to look for special.
Rudy Gobert, 7 feet tall.
I'd say at his peak, he was a generational help defender. Okay, maybe we'll give him that. But you're right, though, Tone. I ain't saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, at some point, these guys have a superpower. You know what I mean? It's just harder at 6 feet. There's a stigma on 6 foot. Like you're saying, that's what you're saying. There's a stigma. There's a stigma on the guys who are that small. Okay, it's harder, even if you're an amazing basketball player. The guys I named, they're not NBA guys, right? They're not. Oh, yeah. But there are examples of guys you're talking about that would have maybe deserved the opportunity for sure. The small guys phase out faster. What happened to Jeremy Lin so quick, right? The run was over before you knew it. It's just tough, man. It's hard to not just defend, but it's hard to score if you're not. You got to be a great shooter. You got to be a great player. You got to be able to do you know how crazy Kyrie is for walking down 7-footers and shooting over them like it's nothing? He posts up. He posted up Klay Thompson for a game winner on a Christmas day. I'll never forget that shot. Klay's got 5 heads on him. He's that much taller than him. and he just rises up and shoots over his head. It's like Kyrie is so good at basketball. Like no one should be that good at anything. That's how good he is at basketball. That's how special I'm talking about. That's how special you got to be to stick in the NBA at that size and make money and get a second contract and so on and so forth. So that's all I'm saying. Davion Mitchell's got 2 years, $24 million. Credit to him, man. Play some defense, knock down some shots. Good for him. Great for him. He's a great athlete, though.
Question. You just mentioned this guy. Is Klay Thompson a top 10 shooting guard all time?
I mean, I have to think about 10 guys, but I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't think he's certainly not top 5. D-Wade.
He's not top 10 either. I mean,
I don't know if he is.
We could pull up a list and then.
I don't think he's better than Ray.
All right, I'm gonna run down some names. Obviously, he's not better than Mike, right? Obviously, he's not better than Kobe.
Nope. D-Wade, nope.
Dwayne Wade, no. Allen Iverson?
James Harden? No.
No.
James Harden?
No.
Clyde Drexler?
No.
Probably. You ain't seen Clyde. I ain't seen Clyde. Probably. Clyde could. And his name's Clyde.
Reggie Miller?
No.
Okay, no. Fine.
Ray Allen?
Hell.
Clay might have been prime. Clay is probably better than Reggie Miller, bro. I don't know. I mean, what?
You can't even get it out. You stuttering.
No. I'm serious. Here we go, bro.
He's better than
Here we go.
Better.
Okay,
Vince
fine.
Carter.
Give it to, hell no.
Who?
Hell no. Vince Carter. Hell no. Vince Carter's way better than him. Sorry.
Yeah.
T-Mac?
Hell no. Hell. HAIL. No.
Why is that so much stronger than Vince Carter, though? I don't get that part. Anyways, your reaction is so much stronger than Vince Carter. Vince Carter just has the same reaction. That's all I'm saying. But yeah.
Hey, Miles,
But
I'm gonna
Tracy
ask you
McGrady
this.
is better than Vince Carter. So I mean, why wouldn't it be stronger?
Tracy McGrady is what?
He's better than Vince Carter.
No, he's not. He's not.
Greg said what?
Just because he played till he was 48, don't make him better.
Vince Carter is one of the most naturally gifted basketball players I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And skill met the gifts, by the way. That's all I'm saying. T-Mac was awesome. Lazy eye killer.
Awesome. Oh my God.
Awesome. Phenomenal. Great. He was amazing.
Yo, you're crazy.
No, he was amazing.
I swear.
But Vince Carter, in my opinion, is a better basketball player than Vince Carter. Vince Carter was like outside of Kobe Bryant, like in terms of natural gifts and everything, just beating the skill level. Like there are not many guys in the NBA history that are like Vince Carter and Kobe. That's like a different tier of like just natural ability, meeting skill, like the intersection and what happens when that intersection hits. Vince Carter never got the championship, sure. But
you was in the backyard putting it down to 6 feet so you could dunk when you was a kid, huh?
Yeah, whatever, bro.
So that's why you just.
You think so? The fact that you're saying that is crazy. That's dangerous. You see what you're doing is that's Hitler level dangerous. What you're doing. So what you're doing is you're spreading a narrative that all he did was run and jump. That's not a basketball. That's not a basketball Tarzan. This is a man that was an incredibly skilled basketball player. Bump fades, pivot work was crazy. At
Vince Carter was a great basketball player.
The Nets scorer, Vince Carter?
I'm not saying,
oh my God,
putting him better than T-Mac.
That's cool, man. I mean,
I know it's
cool.
late. I know you probably didn't eat yet, so you're not getting the nutrition
Here you
to
go.
the head. The blood's not pumping to the head. So
here you go. Well, the moral story is they're both better than Klay Thompson. I'll tell you that.
Right.
You gonna say Continental better too?
Did not expect for it to go that route. The T-Mac Vince debate. I didn't know that was gonna happen.
What did Stephen say? What did Stephen A say? He was on crack. That's what I'm feeling right now.
You being so adamant that T-Mac's that bad, like even if you think he's better, saying he's that much better is ridiculous. Because he's not. He's not. He just wasn't. That's not true.
We can run the tape back.
I was there. I saw it.
Wow.
Like what?
See, for those listening, it's 12:00 a.m. on our side of things. So it's late. Guys got work in the morning. It's been a long day.
Hey, we ended off with this. The Steelers got Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, 2027 7th round draft pick. The Dolphins received Minka Fitzpatrick, 2027 5th round pick. And obviously, this wasn't a part of this trade, but they also got the rapping tight end, Darren Waller, to come out of retirement and is on the Miami Dolphins for, I believe, a 1-year, $5 million deal. What does this Jalen Ramsey trade mean for both teams? What does this do for the Steelers and the Dolphins?
Dolphins are idiots because they got next to nothing for it. I mean, you get Minka Fitzpatrick, sure, that was like a weird trade to do, though. So, and for the Steelers, I don't know if this makes them that much better. Like, sure, Ramsey's good, but I think he's slowly on the decline a little bit. So for the Steelers, sure, you get a star corner to add to that defense. Whoop-de-doo. You're still not one of the
defense wasn't the problem.
Yeah, defense wasn't the issue. So, and they got Jonnu Smith, who had a solid year last year with Tua.
He's pretty good.
He's good. So that could help out Rodgers, but let's see if this guy makes it through a full season. Like the issues that were there last year are still there to an extent. Like I feel like the line isn't that great. You got DK, but I mean, he's good. He's no Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. So let's see how he does in that tough division. So
if the Steelers want to get, if they want to get better, just fire the offensive coordinator.
Right.
All right. Stop trying to get you all these trades.
What's his name? Arthur Smith. They still have running things, and
yeah.
At this point, Aaron Rodgers, he's got no words to change anything. Like it's either this or you can, pick. He could do something else.
Yeah, no, what you was about to say was crazy. Woo. Crazy. You need a crazy edit job. You need a Love Island edit job to get that out the podcast, bro. You need a good edit. I mean,
the duck phone right now.
You do. I just think, look, based off positional value, Minka Fitzpatrick plays safety. I don't think safety impacts the game the way a corner and a tight end do. So the Steelers won the trade. But the Steelers, what did they really accomplish with this trade? I mean, sure, they got better in certain spots, but their offensive philosophy sucks, and defense was already a strength. So, and John was a marginal improvement to the offense, and you have Freiermuth already. I'm sure they're going to go 2 tight end sets. Great. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will enjoy that. He still throws the ball like one of the best quarterbacks in the world in terms of like natural arm talent. But what are the plays you're going to run to exploit defenses? I have every reason to worry about that based on what I've seen from Arthur Smith and everywhere he's been. So, yeah, man, I mean, they run a 1960s offense. That's their biggest problem. It's cool they made this trade. They won the trade. Great in all technicality, in my opinion, because of positional value. But, again, like, I don't know what Miami's doing. Like, you let Javon Holland go. You could have kept him for less money, I guess. And then you brought in Minka Fitzpatrick, who's better. But, like, if safety was that valuable to you the entire time, just pay the guy for a little bit less and build. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a marginal impact on the game. I'm not saying great safety doesn't help you, but it's marginal. Like, it's a marginal impact in the game, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
At this point, they might as well tank for Archie because I don't know what you're really playing for. They need to just – I'd trade off assets if you think you have the coach in place.
Reek is gone. Reek is still there? Tyreek is still there?
Yeah, for now. I don't see Miami as a place that you can win. And they've delayed the obvious with Tua. Like, Tua can only take you so far. Like, he's a good NFL quarterback, but he's not able to mask any of the deficiencies of your team. Like, the defense sucks now. Like, there's no corners on this team. This is all no names and rookies on this team now. And sure, you got Minka back there, but does that help you at all? No. So, I mean, Tua, he won't wear the Guardian cap. It is what it is. I mean, hopefully he can make it through a full season, healthy again. Like, I want to see him play a long career, but you always have to wonder about the what if. Like, what if he has another concussion? Then you're screwed. And they got next to nothing for Ramsey. Like, it's different than when the Rams traded for Ramsey and you're actually like competing for a championship. I don't get it either end. Like, making this trade doesn't make the Steelers that much better, doesn't get them closer to a championship. And then the Dolphins, like, what are you bringing you drafted this guy 6 years ago to just bring him back. And I know it's a different regime, but you're a bottom feeder in the AFC.
Hey, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.